Brandon Vang is the new Fresno City Council member, taking his seat last week after winning a special election. But during the campaign, voters received a mailer from a dark money group accusing Vang of a horrific crime. On this Wired Wednesday, GV Wire senior reporter David Taub investigated and may have solved the mystery about who was behind the group. David, good morning.
Good morning, Carl.
So let's just get straight to it. What did the mailer say?
The mailer accused Brandon Vang of statutory rape. And now, after that accusation that went to mailers to voters in this special election last month, he and his wife, May Lee, sat down with GV Wire, and they were quite tearful. They were quite offended. They said, although they admit he was 20, she was 15 when they had their first child in the early 90s, they said there was no criminal charges, and they have been together since then. They have raised a family since then. They have been married since then. So obviously that attack mailer from this dark money group didn't really affect the results of the election.
And was that dark mailer group behind the mailer? Who was all behind this?
Well, GV Wire wanted to know. I wanted to know. So I started to ask questions, and a couple days later, Fresno City Attorney Andrew Jans launched a public investigation. And one day later, this group, all we know they were called Fresno Future Forward, they filed the necessary paperwork with the city, and it listed one name, a person by the name of Riley Moore, who people in the media industry, people in the local political industry didn't know who this person was. So I asked more questions because this is a mystery. Who was behind this group? And the more digging I did, there was this one address that was on the mailer, and it linked to a downtown Fresno mailbox store. Now that owner of the store said, no way, this Fresno Future Forward group never did any business with my store. So I dug a little further. There was a phone number associated with this mailer, with this group. There was another address associated with this group. So I checked on that, and it turns out the address was for another mailbox store in North Fresno, and they said yes, Fresno Future Forward and a person by the name of Alex Tavlion registered with our store, and that phone number eventually went to at least a voicemail message on the cell phone of Tavlion as well. So Tavlion is a well-known political consultant. He also does public affairs. He has done a lot of work with the city of Fresno, with a lot of other politicians, both Democrat and Republican, in Fresno. So we were investigating, why is Tavlion involved? Why wasn't his name there in the first place? Those questions may not be known, but when Brandon Vang won the election and he took a seat last week, one of his first pieces of action was to cancel this contract that Tavlion and his public affairs firm had with the city. So how did Tavlion get this contract, a $100,000 a year contract? Well, before Vang's predecessor, Luis Chavez, left office, Chavez signed a $100,000 a year contract with Tavlion's group to provide public affairs work. So Vang, one of the first things he did, he canceled that contract. Now here's another interesting piece. Chavez, his wife Elizabeth Johnston Rosas, was also running for this election that Vang won.
So with that being said, we'll kind of wrap this up in a two-parter question, because you mentioned Andrew Jans. He launched an investigation. So what were the consequences that came out of that, and then what happens next?
Well, Jans issued a $1,000 fine for Fresno Future Forward for not turning its paperwork on time. Once he did launch the investigation, they did turn the paperwork. But here's an interesting thing. So nobody knows who Riley Moore is, who's listed as a person. But the same day that Vang is sworn in, the group files an amended piece of paperwork that lists Alex Tavlion as the person behind that group. So what are the consequences? Well, other than that $1,000 fine, nothing really right now. That satisfied Jans. Jans now let Tavlion know, now that he's revealed as the person behind this group, that now he's responsible for that fine. But whether there's any more investigation, Jans says that he's satisfied as far as his office is concerned, but I know there are complaints out there to other entities, and whether those entities, they're not going to confirm or deny that they received a complaint, we'll just have to wait and see.
Definitely wait and see. David Taub with GV Wire, thank you so much for joining us on this Wired Wednesday morning.
Thank you, Carl.
Great day. We'll be right back.